advocate for inclusive education.
The Declaration on the Human Rights of Disabled Persons was a declaration of the General Assembly of the United Nations made on 9th December 1975. It consists of a lengthy preamble and 13 proclamations that broadly promote the human rights of those with disabilities. People with disabilities have a right to respect for human dignity, right to protection against exploitation, discrimination, and abuse, right to qualified legal aid, right to consult organizations of disabled persons for in matters of concern. In this clip, people with disabilities have been represented by two individuals from Eastern Province who have this to say.
Kwamene vasiya kuno vasiya mavu madomati through ma raw materials ni mapanga mipando kupyolera mmene ma raw materials tivose viti mapanga pati kuti tipeze chakudya lomba ko choenda kuti tikasenzese lomba kwamene tiende upanga panga. That's why we thought of having kachigayo through our government. But tifusa all opposition ama tifusa what about your government who gave you? What about your government? Go wabala mwana. Adiera ni umozi.
There are a number of challenges within our education system. Some of the challenges notably are a environmental barrier or physical environment. So most of the schools here in Zambia, even including Chipata and Eastern Province at large, were built a long time ago. At the time they were being built, they were not built to accommodate children with disabilities or youth with disabilities. So you find that these schools have got stairs, they've got stones. It's not possible for someone who is using a wheelchair to move around the school. If you look at even the portion blocks, the toilets, you find that they are very small. Someone who's using a wheelchair cannot use the toilet. So the environment is really a barrier. Find that the windows are very high, some of them the windows are very small, the lighting system is very poor.
Timafuna nase kuti tizithandizira boma mjira ina ya, but people has pushed us ku social cash trust fund, more especially kukupemba chabe. They only know us kuti we are beggars, but there are some disabled people who don't want to beg. That's why we thought of having such projects which are not being held.
Teaching and learning materials are not available in most of these schools. Teaching materials like, for example, braille paper, things to do with, for example, to teach the visually impaired youths, things that need to be taken care of in education materials, whether it should be mathematical materials, science materials, machines to use, a number of materials, just in brief, and also the materials even to use when teaching the children of the hearing impaired. They are not there in these schools, so it's a challenge.
Chabwino kuti kwapezeka otithandizira vatifika pafupi vamvesesa vamene tifuna olo vatifufuza vamene tingakwanise pa ziko lapansi. Ntchito zisowa zamandani zamadisabled monga ise blind kale we had only 2 jobs, ya teaching na telephone operator, but this time we are only limited in teaching. That's the professional work which we have been pushing from. But can everyone be a teacher?
Very few teachers who are trained in special education to teach the children with disabilities. So most schools and most teachers would say, no, I cannot teach teachers because I'm not trained to teach them. Not only that, even most of the head teachers, the people who make policies at the school level, even deputy head teachers, the HODs, head of departments, the senior teachers, do not have this knowledge of how to teach the children with disabilities. Hence, these learners, they are staying in communities where there are schools, but they cannot access education, which is not acceptable, because they should be able to access education from the places where they are staying education. And moreover, this school called Maguero is also a boarding school, and the fees are very high. And we know that here in Zambia and Africa at large, most people are living below the damn poverty of living $1 per day, so they cannot afford to take the children to this school. So therefore, that's why as CBIG, we are advocating for all the schools to be accommodating these children with disabilities that they should be learning, whether primary school or secondary school, whether tertiary school, wherever they are. The planning itself, the budgeting processes, even at school level, even at district level, should accommodate. There should be a fund, a percentage of a certain amount of money that should go towards to fund inclusive education or special education programs. CBID, what we are advocating is that when the teachers are being trained at Sparta College of Education, they should be trained to teach both learners with disabilities and learners without disabilities. They should be trained together. They should train them the methodologies together.
There are so many challenges, my brother, which we can complain, but no one to answer us, no one to help us. So abamamene elections amene mabwera kwa tikawafunsa wanzatu kuti what have you prepared for the disabled, most especially where job is concerned. They don't give us right answers. Chozivikira tunjauti they have nothing to help. So mafunisisa nice to be happy with like our friends, but voti psinja, voti vuta, voti ati kuirikishiwa fingi fitu fyenga pamitwe Yesu. That's why tuikala fye tondolo nokumona kwati nilesa fye akatwafulisha.
There will not be inclusive society without our involvement. So we need everyone to be involved in this fight.
As we continue to live in societies where people with disabilities' rights are being infringed, their hope is that people get to understand them, to learn and embrace them. Reporting for Alliance for Community Action in Eastern Province, Chipata, I'm Misheck Cheleka.